Ah, mga higala, kumusta na napunta na atong tulumanon Panglantaw sa Kagabhion. Murag medyo tugnaw karon mga igsoon, no? Kay karon pag yun ning tuang ang ulan. Tugnaw-tugnaw diri sa among dapit. Kay murag kuanta, no? Sa dili pa nato sugdan ang atuang panaghisgot ni ining Kagabhion mga igsoon. Ato sang i-shout out si Lilian Martinez Tubigon, ang number 1 nga liker sa ako ang episode ng tagabi Panglantaw sa Kagabhion, si Pastor Yung Munlion Kigangay Jr., ako ang mga parinti diha sa Mulave, no? Fuentes Tabares o si Arturo Tubigon Jr. Bawasan ni dapit si Arturo, murag to ang tinalinis Bukidnon. Si Ma'am Estrella Palir Bakar. Kaya salamat sa inyong pag-like o pag-heart sa ito ang episode at itong niaging gabi. Kagabi wala ko nakahimo sa ito ang program, pero nag-upload ko kung i-download sa YouTube ang usa sa mga kuwanin. Gihimo na kong reels. Replay na lang to o re-upload. So karong gabi na mga igsoon, I want to slow things down a little, not because life has become easy, but because life has become too noisy. Too many people today are chasing instant success, overnight recognition, and sudden breakthroughs, while quietly ignoring the truth that has always governed real progress. Success is never sudden. It is accumulated. Let me say that again, clearly and without exaggeration. Success is the sum of small efforts repeated every day. At once, or not once, not when you feel inspired, not when people are watching, but every day. And this truth matters deeply, not only for our personal lives, but for our nation, our faith, and our future. Daghan kaayo karon ang gusto og dako nga resulta. Dali og dako nga resulta. Apan dili gusto sa gamay nga disiplina. Mao na ang problema sa atong panahon. We live in a culture that celebrates the finish line but ignores the training. We upload success stories but skip the sacrifices behind them. We praise leaders when things go right, but we forget the countless unseen decisions made long before any result became visible. The Bible already warned us about this impatience. In Luke chapter 16 verse 10, Jesus said, "Whoever faithful in every little is also faithful in much." Notice that faithfulness is not tested in the big moments first. It is tested in the small, daily, ordinary moments. That verse alone dismantles the illusion of instant success. Ang kinabuhi dili madaog sa usa ka dakong lakang, kundi sa daghang gagmay nga lakang nga walay unta. This is where many people fail, not because they are incapable, but because they are inconsistent. They start strong but do not last. They dream loudly but work quietly only for a short time. And when results don't come immediately, they blame circumstances, leaders, systems, or fate. But Proverbs chapter 13 verse 11 tells us something uncomfortable yet honest. Wealth gained hastily will dwindle, but whoever gathered little by little will increase it. Little by little, daily, repeated, and celebrated. This is how real success grows. Now, let me connect this to our current situation as a nation. One of the reasons our country struggles is because we keep looking for dramatic solutions to problems that require daily discipline. We want instant economic recovery, instant unity, instant trust, instant reform. But nations like people do not heal overnight. Ang naso dili mausab sa usa ka eleksyon lang, o usa ka balaod lang, o usa ka leader lang. Nations are built by consistent policies, repeated good decisions, and leaders who show up even when applause is gone. Citizens to play a role not through viral outrage, but through daily responsibility. Romans chapter 12 verse 11 reminds us, never be lacking in zeal, but keep your spiritual fervor, serving the Lord. Zeal here does not mean emotional excitement. It means steady commitment. That is why shouting on social media feels productive. But showing up to work honestly every day actually builds the country. Complaining feels powerful, but discipline changes outcomes. Daghan kaayo karon ang kusog ng husga o maghukom, apan hinay kaayo mohulma sa kaugalingon. Let me be very clear. This is not about silencing criticism. Accountability matters. Truth matters. But sustainable change does not come from emotional spikes. It comes from daily obedience to what is right, even when it is boring, slow, and unrecognized. Jesus himself modeled this. For 30 years, he lived quietly. No miracles, no crowds, no recognition, just obedience. Then came 3 years of ministry that changed history. If success were instant, Christ would not have waited 3 decades. Hebrews chapter 12 verse 11 tells us, no discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful. Later on, however, it produces a harvest of righteousness. Notice the word later. That word is uncomfortable for impatient people, but it is the word that separates wishful thinking from real growth. This applies to leadership. This applies to governance. This applies to personal character. This applies to faith. You don't build credibility with one speech. You build it with years of consistency. You don't earn trust with one action. You can earn or you earn it with repeated integrity. You don't grow spiritually with one prayer. You grow with daily surrender. Sa tinuod lang ang gamay nga buhaton nimo karon. Mas kusgan pa kaysa dakong plano nga dili nimo sugdan. That is why Galatians chapter 6 verse 9 encourages us, let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. The harvest is promised, but only if we do not quit. And this is the danger of our time. People are quitting too early, quitting discipline, quitting patience, quitting responsibility, quitting hope. But success, whether personal or national, does not belong to the loudest voice. It belongs to the most faithful worker. So tonight, let this be our reminder. If you feel insignificant, remember that small efforts accumulate. If you feel unseen, remember that consistency outlasts attention. If you feel slow, remember that growth is not a race, it is a process. If you feel tired, remember that even rest is part of discipline. And above all, remember this truth from Psalm chapter 37 verse 23. The Lord makes firm the steps of the one who delights in Him. Steps, not leaps. Steps, not shortcuts. Ug kung padayon ka mulakaw, bisan hinay, basta padayon ug tarong, makaabot ka. Kini ang panglantaw sa Kagabhion diin ang kahayag nagadanag bisan pa sa kangit-ngit. Kini inyong igsuon higala ug alagad Jeremias Labaw Tubigon sa makausap pa mo ingon nga sa atong pagpangandoy ug matarong nga katilingban ang kamatuoran gayud ang atong suga. Ug sa kangit-ngit sa kasaysayan ang tinud-anay nga pamunuan ang labing hayag nga paglaom. That is how success is built. That is how character is formed. That is how nations are restored. Not by one dramatic moment, but by small efforts, repeated every day. Daghang salamat sa inyong pagpaminaw, pagtanaw, ug ang Dios magapanalangin, ug magapanalangin kanatong tanan. Maayong gabi.